Good afternoon, children. This is my fifth video on the lesson Organisms and Populations. Last time I discussed about population interactions or the biotic factors of the environment, and I'd explained how there are two types broadly of different types of interactions. One includes the negative interactions like predation, parasitism, competition, and aminalism or antibiosis. Till here I had already discussed till my previous videos, right? Today we will start with the other category of interactions, that is positive interactions. Here you have to discuss only two types, commensalism and mutualism or symbiosis. So today we'll discuss only this one, that is commensalism. Commensalism, I would say it's a very unique association between two different organisms or species in which one partner is always benefited, but the other is neither benefited nor harmed. So, in the cases when the partner is benefited, we call it as commensal, and the other, which is neither benefited nor harmed, becomes the host. Alright? So, what kind of benefit are we talking about? The benefit comes in variety of forms like food, shelter, protection, living space, or also transportation, that is being transported from one place to the other. So this you'll understand more clearly. Let us start with some examples in each case to understand today's topic. Commensalism, just now I told you one partner will always the advantageous one, the commensal, and the other, which will not be affected or harmed, would be host. Very common relationship we can see is the host, that is man, and bacteria. We know that the bacterium, that is Escherichia coli or E. coli, it lives inside the intestine, that is large intestine, and which part, children? The colon. So it is cecum, colon, and rectum of the large intestine. We know the three parts, but this bacteria lives in the longest part of large intestine called the colon. So when it lives there, right, what happens is the bacterium, it feeds on the undigested food residues in human colon, and its presence is very beneficial for humans because it checks the growth of putrefying. Putrefying is like incomplete decay. So growth of putrefying bacteria, right? This is checked along with some vitamins which are utilized by the humans. So this is, you can see, the humans, they derive the nutrition. Being the host, they are deriving the nutrition. So this is a special case of relationship. The other relationship is seen between Entamoeba coli and man. The term coli, children, actually tells that this is living in the colon region of large intestine. So once again, this is living in the large intestine of humans, and what this gets, the bacterium, it gets shelter along with food from the fecal matter, that is a waste matter of the body. The third relationship is a relationship between a small fish called as Phiasper, F-I-E-R-A-S-F-E-R, Phiasper, and sea cucumber called as Cucumeria. Now, this small fish lives in the cloaca of sea cucumber. Cloaca means it's the only opening of let's say digestive, reproductive, and the urinary tracts in the body. So this fish, when it lives inside the cloaca of the sea cucumber, right, it gets protection from the enemies. It's kind of getting a safe place and feeds on the host's feces. So what does an organism need to survive? Food and space. So this is getting both in the cloaca of the sea cucumber. Coming next is a pilot fish. We call it as nocrates. This is a scientific term. Pilot fish and shark, right? So pilot fish actually swims along with the shark, right? And every time when the shark feeds, so this pilot fish, it gets the pieces of the food that are broken off when the shark tears the food or its prey, right? So you can understand that this relationship, this shark is not benefited or harmed, but this gets all the advantage that kind of without hunting or looking for food, it is getting the pieces broken off from the shark's prey. So this is a true example of commensalism, that the one benefited, you saw in all these three, the benefited partners are here and the commensals are here and the hosts are here. All right, but in this relationship, the human being is a special partner here, because not only it's the host to this bacteria, but it's also the commensal, right, in this case. Coming next is another relationship where we can talk about the commensal and host relationships once again between suckerfish and shark. The suckerfish is also called as remora or REMORA or Echnesis, ECHENEIS. Now this is a suckerfish. I'll show you this by a diagram in your textbook. You can see this relationship. Small fishes called as suckerfish, they live on the underside of the shark, right? And they get attached to the underside. How? Because they have powerful suckers on their dorsal fins, right? So suckers, they are formed from the body of this suckerfish, and that is why they are called so, and they get attached to the shark's body on the underside. Now what happens? Because of this association, right, every time when the shark is getting food, right, so they directly get the food supply. See, because of this, the suckerfish is number one, protected from the enemies, because shark is a huge organism, we know, a huge animal. So under this, the fish would be protected against predators or the enemies of this, and also get the better food supply and also move to new places. So three advantages to the suckerfish: shelter, number one; better food from the shark's prey, etc. That is number two. And three is, because of being attached to the body, they'll also be transported. So that is remora, the suckerfish and shark. The sixth relationship. So who is the commensal here? The suckerfish, and the host is shark. Barnacle and whale. The term barnacle we also call scientifically as balanus, right? And this remains attached to the whale's body and is transported from place to place. So unlike this one, here there were three advantages that the suckerfish got: food, shelter and transportation. But the barnacle attached to the whale, it's only getting transportation and nothing else. So this is the commensal, whereas whale becomes the host. Next is clownfish and